Welcome back, guys. Episode 2. I said that I would be back next Sunday. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. A lot of things have gotten away, as is life. Here I am now, 3 months on, but an awful lot of good news. As you can see, I'm in a completely different space. I'm now in my own room. I've moved on to step 1 of what was my 24-month plan, and that's to cut down my bills, to move into a house share. So I've finally got a roof over my head. Not only done that, but I've also got myself a job. Whee! So I'm working remotely from home, which is an absolute joy. As of recent, I've decided to go completely teetotal. I am now drug-free, drink-free. I know I've moved on to these horrible vapes. By the way, on that note, check out them flashy lights. But I am now trying to move on to also being smoke-free. On that note as well, gone back to the gym, got myself on a good diet as well. And I've got some good company. The housemates that I'm living with are really motivational, pushing me in the right direction. They're also remote workers. Although it's been a long time since I last recorded, at the end of the day, everything's worked out well for me. Now, I just want to say a special thanks to some certain people. With that first video, I did some research before recording that first video and actually found that you're expected to not even get a single view for your first video. So I wasn't really expecting anything to come back. I've actually managed to get some subscribers from that. With the past 3 months, I've actually come across friends that have turned up to me and said, when's the next episode coming out? To family members, stepbrothers, stepsister, my own sister I haven't spoken to in 7.5 years has come back to me and got in touch. I have had absolute masses of support. It's been amazing what my first video did for me, which I'm so grateful for. And it's really encouraged me to continue this journey. Now, as I say, so a special thanks to some certain individuals, got my best friends and my circle of friends, but there's been 1 or 2 people that sort of stood out that I never would have thought that would maybe give me that little bit of encouragement. So Chantel, one person, you sort of stuck in my mind when I put my first post on Instagram of this YouTube video. You messaged me and sort of said this is where I started at and to keep going. That's been stuck in my head, so thank you for that. And secondly as well, Chris Hales, I don't normally mention people's surnames. Chris, I hope you don't mind me saying, he really encouraged me. Somebody that I didn't expect to sort of be following me. His words really stayed with me, so thank you ever so much, Chris, for your encouragement. Again, thank you very much, guys. Thank you all of you for your support so far. Now, without talking furthermore, let's go into episode 2. Something that happened along this journey while I was still at my friend's house, I had a group of best friends, which I'm ever so thankful for. They said, right, we're going to travel out to Derby. We're going to come and see you. We're not just coming out to waste our time. And I had a bit of an inkling that this was going to be for an intervention. Any of you that's seen How I Met Your Mother? Well, there's interventions on that program.
Maybe sit down. No, only the person getting the intervention sits down. Yeah.
And I was just absolutely bricking it. And with this, they said to me, look, we're here for the support. We want you to get back up on your feet. You know, we'll help you get housed, etc. Things like this, but with 2 rules. And rule number 1 was for me to cut any side hustles that I had going, anything that might have been distracting me from getting myself a job, which I did. I just got myself a new job, which was a self-employed job. And that's something that I then completely cut there. And then, even though that was an opportunity that I really felt like was good for me, but I wanted the support of my friends and I wanted to show them as well that I was willing to do what they'd asked of me. So I did that. I cut anything that I was doing sort of on the side. And the second rule as well was for me to take a job in amongst our friendship group. I didn't end up doing that, and instead I sort of fought back against that. I hope they can forgive me for it. But I'm now in such a good place, as I say, remotely working from home and be enjoying myself more. So that was a strange experience in my life, but it really did help kick me up the arse in order to be able to move in the right direction. So thank you guys, those that came out and did that intervention. So thirdly, I just wanted to say that in the first video, I did mention there that I'd made myself fully flexible. What I meant by this was, if you're in a similar position to me or where I was in my first video, or even if you're just looking to go maybe to a next step, as I'd said in my first video, where I want to be a digital nomad and travel the world and be flexible. Well, with that, I sold an awful lot of material possessions, such as you might notice here in this video, I've tried to make a bit more effort with the editing. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. But with that, it's been a bit of a hard-hitting thing. I've brought with me very minimal possessions, although many housemates did say that I'd come with an awful lot, but they didn't realize all those objects that had gone and more, which obviously I didn't then go and film. So first thing first would be to try and free yourself up as much as you can. And this then leads me on to now what I said I would talk about, which are 10 topics in order to be able to maybe get yourself into my position, not my position of where I was previously, but avoiding homelessness, avoiding positions of negativity and trying to go somewhere with it. Obviously, I'm trying to show that at the end of the day it can be done, and I'm just going to go over some little pointers, things in my life that have helped me. Hopefully these might well help you, but as I say, I'm doing this as a bit of a diary to look back and reflect upon, and things as a life experience that are leading me in the right direction. Now, firstly, for me, one thing that was very clear, I needed to set myself goals that were achievable, and a bit of a plan, something for me to aim towards, but also was realistic. Now, prior to me actually becoming homeless, I had a bit of a downside in my life. I'm not going to go through it right now. It might be a bit depressing. I'll go over it another time, and I'm briefly touched on the fact that I'm hoping and looking forward to starting a podcast with that. It's going to come out in that anyway. Hopefully you guys will listen into that, or maybe even watch that as well. But in order for me then to be able to move on in my life, I thought I'm going to take some time, and I took about 3-4 weeks in order to be able to plan myself a bit of a move. And with that, I set myself some clear goals, some achievable goals, and so far I've been achieving with monthly goals and at the same time long-term goals. Now, with this, I came across a guy called Charlie Morgan. He became a millionaire through marketing and sales, and something that I learned from him was to make mood boards. So this is my mood board, and with this mood board I decided that first off I'm going to try and get my fitness up. Something that I've always been interested in is calisthenics. With my housemates, fortunately one of my housemates is into calisthenics, so it's been absolutely fantastic. I'm not there yet. I've just been getting back into a gym routine, get my muscles used to going back to the gym, but I'm hoping to achieve a bit of a body like this guy here, Chris Herrer. I can half do that human flag, so I want to be able to fully do the human flag. I want to get my body to a position whereby not only I'm self-confident and happy with it, but also I feel that it then supports me with work and my daily lifestyle. Moving on from that, upping the ante in terms of my income and getting myself to a position whereby I could afford like luxury cars, watches, fragrances, and then move on to the second stage of my mood board. So within the second stage of my mood board, and something that's important to me towards the back end of this 2-year-long plan, is for me to be able to start doing Muay Thai. So originally I was interested in ninjutsu, in Filipino mixed martial art, half English, half Filipino. I thought that'd be something quite interesting to take on board. Unfortunately, at the time that I was looking to take it on board, COVID hit, and after COVID, both the Filipino mixed martial arts school and the ninjutsu school closed down in Nottingham, which is where I'm based at the moment. I'm back in Nottingham, by the way. And so then I thought, what else do I want to do? I had some friends doing BJJ, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but it didn't really take my interest. I've always been interested in Batman. I'm Batman. With that, that's where maybe like the ninjutsu side came. Also, I think it's quite cool to do ninjutsu, like be a ninja, creep around in the shadows, or maybe like become like a samurai. And with that influence, maybe from like movies or cartoons, things like this, the martial arts side of things then came down that line. But as I say, so with a replacement, it's come to Muay Thai. And unfortunately, my other housemate, how on earth could this be the case? But my other housemate does Muay Thai. Nice. And as a note on that, he goes to a Muay Thai school somewhere nearby. I'm hoping to join him relatively soon, once my finances up a little bit and I can afford to. And then therefore, as I say, with this mood board, I want to be like that Bruce Lee figure. I'm not obviously the biggest guy, but being able to have those skills behind me is something that I'd like to further later on in life. This mood board is sort of for something a bit further down the line, but then you might see some more cars or things like that, but they're more expensive. It's for me to get more luxurious product, for me to have a nicer wardrobe, a nicer house, and then maybe start coming to the point whereby I'm able to really build a house, family, and sort of a future for myself. Now, other than this, I also looked into the ways of controlling like a month at a time or a week at a time, or even down to a particular day. So I use this app called Habit. I find it extremely useful. It gives me little notifications. My drink water notification is one that just drives me absolutely crazy, but it's incredibly useful. A lot of people are really bad at drinking water, and doing the sort of 2 liters a day is something that's really helped me. On top of that, I've had a few notes for myself personally, obviously, that work around my own life, whether that be me weighing myself, eating a certain amount of calories during the day, even like reading a book or doing things like meditation, all things that are a little bit of self-improvement for me. But as I say, that app Habit, try it out. It is absolutely amazing. So then I've got myself other long-term goals, and like for instance, over a period of like 6 months. So as part of this now, I'm 3 months into the 24-month plan, and coming up as part of this, hopefully, will be this podcast. It's going to be called The Imperfect You. I'm going to be going into all sorts of various topics that might be uncomfortable for maybe the average person to be talking about, but with my lifestyle, things that have come up, I've very much started to take on board a zero given attitudes. Therefore, I have found that I'm willing to talk about all areas and topics very openly. I'm hoping this might help some people. Also, we're going to provide a little bit of entertainment. I don't want it to be incredibly dark, even though we might touch on some subjects that might be a bit touchy or might put some people in some uncomfortable sort of listening situations, but we will make sure that the support there on the side. But anyway, going back to the topic, I'm basically saying here that coming up is hopefully that podcast. And again, without pushing my goals too far and too hard, that was just something that I had as a long-term objective. I would love to hear on that note, along with every other topic that I'm going to talk about, that if you have any suggestions for me in order to be able to better plan out your life, in order to be able to better regulate, organize, I'd love to hear it. At the end of the day, it's going to help me and anybody else that maybe will look at the comments. Drop it in there. If you don't want to drop it in there, message me personally. I will then talk about it maybe in my next video if it's something that's worthwhile and can be used by others. Obviously, I'll take it on board. I'll test it, trial it. I'll give it a go. So I'd really appreciate any feedback you guys can give me.
I'll be back.